My name's Emily Knox. I'm from Deep End, a digital agency just around the corner in Surrey Hills. And today I'll be taking you through some social media tactics from the dark side, what marketers can learn from digital agencies when it comes to social media marketing. So today we'll look, I'll just introduce who Deep End is very quickly, and then we'll get to the more interesting stuff. What I understand to be the relationship between agencies, clients, marketers, and social media, and then a couple of tools I use to get audience insights, and then just a quick case study to show you how you can actually use those to get results in your social media marketing. So a little bit about Deep End. We're a full-service digital agency. We've got offices in Sydney and Melbourne. We do everything from design and development, strategy, mobile, moving image, and obviously social media. So we've got a large variety of client verticals in social media, from FMCG to entertainment, tourism, and beauty. Now, we work with our clients in the social media team in a lot of different ways. Some clients we will do the whole shebang, from strategy and planning to implementation, community management, continuous improvement. Other clients we work with a little bit differently, and they're the ones that prefer to take their social media marketing or the community management of it in-house. These clients generally tend to have resources already in place, often from the marketing team in-house, and sometimes, especially for brands that people are very passionate about, so maybe arts brands like theatres, or some tourism brands as well. People who are actually working in the organisation and living the brand are actually better placed than an agency to do the community management and the content creation sometimes. But on the downside, for some of these clients, they often don't have access to costly social media monitoring software that we have in agencies, like Radian 6 or PageLever or Social Bakers. And they're also often time poor. They often don't have just a dedicated social media manager. It often falls onto a marketing manager. So with all of that in mind, this Prezzo looks at a couple of tactics that I use that are free, simple, and quick, that you can use as well to get insights into your fans and followers and use that to inform your content strategy. So the first one I want to talk about is the Hunch Twitter followers tool. This can help you get qualitative information about your followers or followers of your competitor. So quickly, what is Hunch? Hunch.com, I suggest you go and check it out. They say that it's a startup. They say their mission is to build a taste graph of the entire web using algorithmic machine learning to connect people with their affinities. What that really means is that they know a lot about what a lot of people like and the connections between all those different objects and values and even political stances. So if you go to hunch.com and tell it a little bit about yourself, it will use its artificial intelligence to be able to predict a lot more things about yourself, and it's scary accurate. I think it's definitely a really interesting product, and eBay thought the same thing when it acquired it pretty recently. So one of the things that Hunch offers you for free in its goodies section is the Twitter follower stats tool, which will provide information from the taste graph of the followers of any Twitter profile with over 1,000 followers. So you can use that for yourself or for your competitors if you or they are on Twitter. So all you have to do is go to hunch.com/Twitter-followers, type in a username, and just hit analyze. So I tried it for my Twitter handle, Deep End. And what came back from the people that follow Deep End is that they read a lot of blogs. They use pretty niche social media sites or apps like Foursquare. They often have over 10 tabs open at a time. They're willing to spend over $150 on jeans, and they have their eggs poached as opposed to fried, possibly to help them fit into those jeans. They hold dual citizenship quite often, and they possibly are managers of other people in their professional life. So it comes up with a pretty good picture of digital marketers in a metro Sydney or Melbourne, who does actually, they are the people that do follow us on Twitter. So it's pretty accurate. Obviously, it's not as useful if you know exactly who's following you, but when you put in a brand or a competitor brand that surprises you, that's when it can be really interesting and can definitely has informed us changing client strategies in terms of what they're doing on Twitter in the past. So the pros of this tool is that you can gain insights into your followers' tastes, lifestyles and value that go beyond just what they say about themselves in their bios or just about what they say about your brand when you're monitoring that conversation. It's a little more profound than that, I suppose. The drawbacks are you have to trust Hunch's data. It only assesses fans of a brand that are actually on Twitter, so they're probably going to be a bit more tech savvy than others. And the data is only available if you have over 1,000 followers. The next one is called Follower Wonk. So Follower Wonk is a similar kind of tool, but I suppose it's more quantitative, the information that you can get out of it. So that's why they're good to use together, I find. So it's a free tool that helps you explore and grow your social graph. So it can tell you who your Twitter followers are, where they are, when they're most active, and who the most influential ones are. So again, it's really easy. You just go to followerwonk.com, select the Analyze Followers tab, put in the username, and hit Analyze. And you can analyze people who follow you and also people that you follow if you'd like to do that. So these are some of the things that it will spit out once you hit Analyze. So I've done it in this case for Mona, the Museum of Old and New Art in Tasmania. Just picked it at random, really. So Follower Wonk tells us that their followers on Twitter are most active between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. So immediately I can take a recommendation out of that, don't stop tweeting when you go home from work. Use a service like Buffer or Hootsuite to schedule tweets at night. The map shows us that even though most of their followers are on the eastern seaboard of Australia, they've got followers peppered all over the world. So again, tweeting should be taking into account different time zones, not just Hobart time. And then I think the most interesting graph is the word cloud in orange in the middle of the screen, which is the most mentioned keywords in Mona's followers' Twitter bios. So it's how they talk about themselves and how they present themselves to the world. So you can see that there's lots of arts terms in there, which shouldn't be surprising: contemporary art, graphic design, visual arts, art gallery. So, in some ways that could be a really good thing. Obviously, you're talking to people who are interested in your product. Or maybe it's not such a good thing because maybe you're just preaching to the choir and there's an opportunity there to acquire a bigger audience that, more people are interested in art than just people who are already arts professionals. So the pros of Follower Wonk, it gives you a great overall demographic and psychographic snapshot of your Twitter followers, both your own and your competitors, and it gives you the option to analyse those that you follow. The cons are it doesn't actually tell you who's most engaged with your Twitter profile. These are just all the people that follow you, so some might not even be active anymore, so it's one thing to look out for. And then I just want to show you quickly how I've used these tools to inform my strategy for one of my clients, Ferrero, for the Ferrero Chocolates Australia Facebook page. So Ferrero came to us and said that we know everyone likes chocolate. It's actually really easy to acquire fans to the Ferrero Chocolates Facebook page because it's really delicious and everyone knows what it is and they like it. But we don't want to just acquire anyone. We want to acquire people who are most likely to purchase at our new online store. It's called the Ferrero Boutique, and they sell more upscale hampers filled with Ferrero products. So how are we going to do that? So the objectives were to grow the page and grow it quite economically, not be paying lots of money per fan, to make sure that the content we're producing was really engaging, not just grow the page and then sort of have nothing to say, and also drive traffic to this online store. So we wanted at least 10% of referrals to come from Facebook. So what did we know about people that are most likely to purchase at the online store? Nothing, because it had just pretty much started. It had only started a few months prior. So the only thing we did have was a media post report from the Christmas campaign, which gave us 4 websites which were most likely to drive traffic that ended in a conversion, that ended in a purchase at the Ferrero Boutique. So they were 2 Threads, Nuff Nang, My Invites, and Women's Day. So that didn't tell us a huge amount either. So what we decided to do was take those media properties, find their Twitter accounts and put them through Hunch and Follow a Wonk and see what we could find about these actual people, not just their demographics, but their psychographics, so that we'd be able to create content for them on a social network ongoing. And after we put these 4 profiles in, 2 really distinct psychographic and demographic groups emerged. The first I call the young, rich and flashies. These were the Two Threads and Nuff Nang readers. They were female, 18 to 34. They lived in inner metro sort of areas. They were tertiary educated. They just started working. They had big disposable incomes. They were interested in fashion and partying and getting drunk. And they were very tech savvy and blog readers. And they were over the top and demonstrative. And that's why that's what they saw in gift giving, was the ability to, I suppose, impress other people. We had a very similar strategy with the ads. We created different, for Facebook advertising, we created different sets of images and copy that would appeal to these 2 separate groups, and then targeted them not only demographically, but psychographically. So we targeted young women that were interested in fashion and fed them fashion content, and the same for the caring homemakers. And this was an incredibly effective strategy in the end, which was born of using these 2 free tools and not all our really expensive, Radian 6 and social media monitoring software. So we did grow the Facebook page. We were aiming to acquire fans at 1/3 the Facebook average. We ended up getting them for 1/8 the Facebook average, and we grew the fan base by well over 100,000 in 12 months. In terms of engagement, the page is consistently, inside or outside campaign periods, 3 to 4 times the industry average for engagement rate. And in terms of driving traffic, across the board, outside of Christmas and Easter, it consistently drives about 20% of all referrals to the online store from Facebook.